It was October 1944. World War II raged on, sweeping across the Pacific theater with a force unmatched in human history. After years of suffering under brutal Japanese occupation, the Philippines lay in wait, battered but unbroken. And now, the time had come. The Allied forces led by General Douglas MacArthur had launched their long-awaited campaign to liberate the islands. But what followed would become the largest naval battle in recorded history, the Battle of Leyte Gulf. The stakes were monumental. Leyte Gulf wasn't just another skirmish on the endless seas. It was the turning point. If the Allies succeeded, they would sever Japan's access to vital resources and cripple its ability to fight. If Japan prevailed, it could halt the Allied advance and prolong the war indefinitely. It began with Operation King II, an ambitious amphibious assault on the island of Leyte. Thousands of American troops stormed the beaches, while behind them, an armada of hundreds of warships prowled the waters, ready to fend off any Japanese retaliation. What they didn't know was that Japan had assembled its greatest battle fleet for one final desperate gambit. The Imperial Japanese Navy planned to strike in 4 separate fleets, creating a hammer and anvil trap that would crush the Allies. As dawn broke over October 23rd, the waters of the Pacific surged with both beauty and brutality. American reconnaissance planes spotted Japanese vessels closing in, triggering the first of several battles that would define Leyte Gulf. Over the course of 4 days, the sea transformed into chaos. Warships fired volleys into the horizon, carrier-based aircraft dove into enemy formations, and sailors struggled under relentless barrages. The battle unfolded in 4 distinct encounters: the Battle of the Sibuyan Sea, the Battle of Surigao Strait, the Battle off Cape Engano, and the Battle off Samar. Each one brought moments of heroism, tragedy, and sheer determination. The Sibuyan Sea saw ferocious aerial assaults as American planes swarmed the Japanese center force, the core of their fleet, led by the massive battleship Musashi. One of the largest warships ever built, the Musashi was Japan's pride, not just a vessel but a symbol of invincibility. But invincible it was not. Under relentless waves of Allied dive bombers, it finally succumbed to the sea, sending a message that even Japan's mightiest ship could be brought down. But the Japanese weren't done yet. On October 24th into October 25th, the Battle of Surigao Strait erupted, the final clash of battleships in history. In near-total darkness, American forces laid a devastating ambush. Using radar-guided guns, cruisers and destroyers delivered precision strikes, decimating the Japanese fleet. The strait became a graveyard of burning debris, shattered lives, and extinguished ambitions. Yet it was the battle off Samar that would etch itself most deeply into the annals of history. A testament to the extraordinary courage of ordinary men. Admiral William Bull Halsey had sent the majority of the powerful Third Fleet north to engage Japanese carriers, leaving the smaller, slower escort carriers vulnerable to attack from the Japanese center force. The sailors of the Taffy 3 task unit found themselves outnumbered and outgunned, facing heavy cruisers and battleships with nothing but their determination, and a handful of tin-can destroyers. What followed was an unparalleled act of bravery. American destroyers charged the Japanese fleet, firing torpedoes and shells with reckless abandon, while the escort carriers launched every plane they had. The result was chaotic and brutal, a David and Goliath struggle against impossible odds. But against all logic, the Americans prevailed. The Japanese center force, battered and demoralized, withdrew from the fight. The sailors of Taffy 3 had won a victory that defied reason, one earned not by resources but by sheer grit. A victory that defied reason, one earned not by resources but by sheer grit. And behind all this chaos stood MacArthur's forces on Leyte Island, watching the carnage from afar while continuing their grueling advance inland. Inch by bloody inch, they pushed back the entrenched Japanese forces, knowing full well that the battle raging in the Gulf was their lifeline. By October 26, the waters grew eerily still, signaling the battle's end. The Allied forces had achieved a decisive victory. Japan's naval power had been shattered. A force meant to protect its empire now lay broken beneath the waves. The losses were staggering. Dozens of ships sunk, thousands of lives lost. But victory came with no guarantees. The battle had unlocked the door to the Philippines' liberation, but there was still much to be done. The Battle of Leyte Gulf wasn't just a triumph of firepower. It was proof of human resilience, of how far people will go when the stakes are everything. Men like Admiral Halsey, who gambled with risk and paid the price. Men like the sailors of Taffy 3, who faced down annihilation and refused to retreat. Together, they forged an outcome so profound it reshaped the Pacific theater. In the months that followed, the Philippines was liberated, and Japan began its slow march toward surrender. The brutal clash of Leyte Gulf marked the beginning of the end for one of history's darkest wars. And though the waves have long since calmed, the echoes of that battle still linger, a reminder of the sacrifices made and the lives lost in pursuit of a brighter tomorrow. The Battle of Leyte Gulf wasn't just a moment in history. It was the culmination of daring strategies, unforgiving risks, and indomitable courage, men fighting not just for victory, but for the future itself.